Hello everyone. Today I am joined with Ankur Sharma. He is a merchant banker and a VP at Newberry Capitals Private Limited. Can you explain what is merchant banking and what is the difference between merchant banking and investment banking?
Okay. So one of the major differences is that the merchant banks are semi-regulated. Okay. So we have to adhere to certain compliance part, ethics part, regulatory part that we have to follow very stringently. Okay. Investment bank, they are mostly associated with the companies who want to go for private equity or venture capital. They don't have a regulatory aspect as such. Okay. So all the merchant bankers can be investment bankers, but not all the investment bankers are merchant bankers.
What do you make out of the capital markets and the securities market right now, when there are rumors of overvaluation?
Post the elections, I don't think there has been more than a couple of days where market have turned red. Otherwise, it has been mostly green and green. So a couple of factors are playing that role in this. One is I'm not like politically adhere to any of the party, but I'm just going to put up my comments. I think one of the thing that market is capturing is the political stability. Post the elections, I don't think there has been more than a couple of days where market. And apart from that, I think one of the major factor which is contributing towards this overvaluation part, or which is supporting the continuous demand for the valuation, is the participation from the retail as well as the domestic institutional investors. And there is going to be a correction into the near future.
Okay, so you are saying that the Indian market is overvalued currently?
So see, it's obviously kind of an overvalued. There is kind of a certain bubble which is forming up, and obviously, as I say now, the market is going to see some corrections. On paper, you are basically required to be a CA or a CS or an MBA finance to get into investment banking. Okay, but this really won't help. There are many CA, there are many CS, there are many MBA finance, but still they are not able to make into investment banking because, first of all, obviously people get attracted to the investment banking, merchant banking because of the finance part, salaries and incentives. Obviously, it is there, but it is a very hard kind of job. I'll brief you. If you are trying to pitch for the origination team, you should have a very good presentation skills. You should be able to identify that what all things you need to put up in the presentation. Second is the execution part. If you're into an execution, you need to have an eye to information. You need to have a very good thing, you need to know where do you need to identify the challenges. So during this process, क्या होता है ना, लोग पूछते तो हैं यार merchant banking में जाना, but क्या होता है कि यार ये तो कुछ अलग ही हो गया. This is not something that I wanted to do. What happens, like if you enter in a larger organization, you work on a specific part of a transaction, but when you're working for a small firm, you're working on each and every aspect of the transaction.
So what courses and certification लोग कर सकते हैं for improving these skills, for improving these difficult skills actually? And merchant banking में घुसने का अगर मैं पूछूं, practical experience आपको क्या लगता है कि which courses are more likely to enter in merchant banking or should enter in merchant banking?
See, curriculum wise, so I told you, people prefer MBA finance. Some CA is obviously there. People are CA. Like my first mentor, Mr. Moshe, he is a CA. Okay, I learned under him only. Okay, but the thing is that the conventional CA part is a bit different from merchant banking. So if I have to see, the CA can apply his mindset onto the numbers. Okay, if you have to enhance your skill set, then you have to learn the presentation part. Okay, because if you're going to get as an intern, you are not going to work onto the IPO part or anything. You will be mostly given parts where like presentation part. Okay. Work on this presentation, draft your pitch. So you are a CA, good, you got the platform, but now you have to make your skill set in the presentation part also. Some CA is obviously there. People are CA. Like my first mentor, Mr. Moshe, he is a CA. Okay, I learned under him only. Okay, but the thing is that it's not about what background you come from. It's what you can contribute. Okay. So if you can contribute, okay, this is very good to go, or this is the 5 challenges that I see, then I can comment if it is good to go or not. It's not about what background you come from. Gave you a name. Okay, we don't have much details. Okay, and I just tell you that okay, Prashant, go find out if there is any outstanding litigations for this person.
Generally, what I have learned about these scenarios is go on MCA website, search for the company name, you'll get all the details, and if you want to dig deeper, you can go on the NCLT website as well. You'll find all the list of litigations, etc. of the different companies over there.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, because you come from a CA background, now here you have an advantage. Okay, if I'm going to ask the same to an MBA guy, he's not going to be aware कि how it is to be done. वो जाके Google करेगा, कुछ ना कुछ करेगा.
So if I talk about the 3 stages, as an intern, ज़्यादातर hiring कहाँ पे होती है? पहला question. दूसरा question would be, okay, you have become an intern, you have done MBA, you are now a fresher. So as a fresher, where the entering is done, what are the job levels, what are the packages, and how do you grow? So basically, if I ask you कि कौन सा ज़्यादा practical है? Merchant banking, investment banking, PE, VC I'm taking together. What do you think about the market performance? How is it going to be? And any specific sector that you are... Hello everyone. Today I am joined with Ankur Sharma. He is a merchant banker and a VP at Newberry Capitals Private Limited. Welcome Ankur. How are you?
I'm good, Prashant. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to invite me with this podcast and share my insights about today's agenda that we are going to discuss about the merchant banking and how to make a career in the merchant banking.
Thanks a lot for coming, Ankur. So let's start our discussion. Ankur, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so hi, my name is Ankur and I'm originally from Kota, Rajasthan. I've been working in Mumbai for almost a decade now, so you can call me a Mumbaiker. I started my journey as an intern at Arihant Capital, So they offered me a PPO during that time. I was with them so I joined them as an assistant manager. I started my career with looking after the valuation desk, but then eventually I moved into equity capital market side, and there I managed. They were into SME IPOs, buybacks, open offers. So I was with them for almost 4 years. I developed the skills that were required to, you know, be a part of the merchant banking
Hmm.
team because I do not come from accounts background. I am an engineer plus MBA in finance.
Okay.
Okay, so whatever skills I had to learn, I learned it over the desk, and thankfully, I had a really very good mentor, Mr. Amol Sagar, and he is a very good, mentor as well as a friend and kind of a family to me, and he guided me all through my initial journey that what are things I need to look at while doing my job. Okay, so he was there with me. I was with the Orient Capital for almost 4 years. Then I moved
Okay.
to SMC Capitals. They wanted to have someone who can look after valuation desk single-handedly. So at Orient Capital, I must have looked after around 150 plus valuation assignments. And so I got this opportunity. I joined SMC Capitals, where I, after despite being a senior associate, I was looking after the valuation desk single-handedly. Like the complete control was given to me right from providing quotations to working out the reports and signing off the reports and all. Then again at the SNC Capitals, because there was the equity capital markets team, and because I had a fair exposure into the equity capital market side, I got involved into equity capital market transactions. I pitched to the Deepam desk actually, if you're aware, the department of disinvestment department of the government,
Hmm.
with the government mandate. The government companies come out with the IPOs and all. So I got this opportunity to draft out a presentation to pitch to them,
Okay.
and we were able to grab those mandates. So it was a major opportunity and kind of an achievement for me on the paper because I presented the pitch books in front of the Ministry of Water Resources, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Telecommunications. So that was a sort of a personal achievement for me. So I was with the SNC Capital for almost 3 years. We were working on certain mandates, but due to COVID, the things got stalled. A couple of mandates got revoked or cancelled. We did not move ahead because the financial conditions of the company were hit substantially. So the valuation could not have been achieved. Then I joined Systematics as an AVP, where I was mostly working onto the equity capital market side valuations. So at Systematics, I got to work on the our under learning IPO, INOX Green IPO, Jupiter Wagons Limited QIP, Bank of Maharashtra QIP. So I completed these 3, 4 major transactions, and then I moved to. Then I had an opportunity to work with Citi, but that was into the
Okay.
compliance department actually. And my first and foremost interest has always been investment banking. So I had a choice. This Newberry actually. I used to work with one of the gentlemen, Mr. Satish Mangut at SNC Capitals. He was a
Okay.
senior to me, so he offered me this opportunity because he would be moving to this organization, and he wanted me to tag along with him because he and I have a very good bonding when it comes to work and all. So he offered me this opportunity, and then I let go the Citibank opportunity and joined Newberry Capitals. At Newberry Capitals, I and Satish sir, we are handling the completely equity capital market transactions. We are mostly focused on the equity capital markets. Newberry Capitals is almost a decade old firm. We have been into the market as a broker, as an investor. Okay, so Newberry Capitals was one of the early investors into the Ethos Watches Group, if you are aware.
Okay.
So when this IPO came and also that was the time that the investment paid off. And so we have been investing into various companies. We are, merchant bankers come a group of investors. We have an transaction going on where we have recently acquired the Times Group NBFC, where the open offer is going on.
Okay.
Okay, we are an exclusive advisor to one of the foreign portfolio investor. Okay, so we are trying to build up an ecosystem where we can also offer our investor services as well as merchant
Yes.
banking
Yes.
services. So
Okay.
this is a brief about myself.
So I can say the person who is guiding is at least having experience of 10 years right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
I told you, I started off as an intern, and
Uh,
believe me, when I joined as an intern, I was just an MBA finance, and I didn't even completed my MBA even when I joined Orient. So I had to appear for last semester. I joined them before even completing my college. So I
okay.
was working and then preparing for the exams, going back to I did my MBA from Amity Noida, so I had
Okay.
to travel to Noida to write up my exams for the dissertation part. So yeah, all those things were there. So okay, maybe we'll talk about the things that are required to be a merchant bank in the later question. So right now
Yes.
we can cut it short to this.
Sure. Okay. So, how you have explained how did you got into it? You had
Yeah.
interest and you had actually practical hands-on experience and hands-on, learning because you are coming from an engineering background. But for
Yeah,
those who don't know or but who those who got confused, can you explain what is merchant banking and what is the difference between merchant banking and investment banking?
okay. So one of the major differences that the merchant banks are SEBI regulated. Okay,
Okay.
so we have to adhere to certain compliance part, ethics part, regulatory part that we have to follow very stringently. Okay, we are mostly working on to equity capital markets or the debt capital markets where the companies come out with an IPOs. The one there where the listing part is more involved. Okay,
Okay.
so we merchant bankers mostly work on to that part. While in investment bank, they are mostly associated with the companies who want to go for private equity or venture capital. They don't have a regulatory aspect as such. Okay, because SEBI is not involved into the investment banking part. So merchant banking part, if I have to go for an IPO, there is an ICDR regulation that I have to follow, prepare a document. Okay, I have to cover up all the points which are there into the regulatory part. While an investment bank, he is just going to prepare an information memorandum, okay, which is going to have a similar kind of information. But then, even if he misses out on certain part of information, there is not going to be any challenge for him. Okay, where if
Yes.
we miss on to certain part, okay, we would be answerable to SEBI that why we
Yes.
missed on to this specific part. So this is one of the major difference I think that is there between the merchant banking and investment banking. So all the merchant bankers can be investment bankers, but not all the investment bankers are merchant bankers.
Good one. So if I ask about underwriting, will I say that underwriting is a subset of merchant banking because underwriting is also a part of listing, right?
Right. So merchant bankers do underwriting. Obviously, uh, there are procedure to be followed. Okay,
So I
so
can say it's a
underwriting.
subset, right?
Right. So
Yes.
market making, even merchant bankers do the market making for the SME companies. If they have a broking division, if they have a broking terminal, so market making is something like you have to provide the buy side and the sell side quote in the market to provide the liquidity to the stock. But that is mostly applicable for the SME listed companies, not for the main boards.
So let's move ahead. As a merchant banker, since you almost, I think, most of the time is in market only, what do you make out of the capital markets and the securities market right now? When there are rumors of, overvaluation, they are using the overvaluation methods used by Warren Buffett, and according to his name, a specific formula was also invented of GDP, etc. So they, as per that, also we are overvalued. So what do you think about that?
See, अगर बोला जाए तो right now market में there are a lot of things going on which the market is seeing that continuous rally towards upside. Okay, post the elections, I don't think there has been more than a couple of days where market have turned red. Otherwise, it has been mostly green and green. So, couple of factors are playing that role in this. One is the I'm not like politically adhered to any of the party, but like okay,
Yes.
I'm just going to put up my comments. I think one of the thing that market is capturing is the political stability because the previous government is continuing
Hmm.
for this term also as of now. So as of now, they see some sort of a stability in the policies. Okay, whatever reforms that government had taken for the last year, so these are going to be in place for the next 5 years. That is one of the positive sentiment that institutional investors have for the government part. Okay, and apart from that, I think one of the major factor which is contributing towards this overvaluation part or which is supporting the continuous demand for the valuation is the participation from the retail as well as the domestic institutional investors.
Okay.
Okay, so we have seen like companies are able to garner the valuation, okay, whatever they are demanding. It is when like stocks are performing at around 400% returns, 500% returns in last 1 year. There are certain such kind of stocks, okay, which have given such kind of returns. So the this is basically a function of a political stability, technology advancements, and the fiscal policies. And as I said, the retail participation and the interest of domestic institutional investors. So there has been tremendous increase in the if you're going to see a lot of demat accounts. There has been tremendous increase into the
Yes.
demat accounts that has been opened in last 1 year, and
Yes.
like around 34 lakhs, I think 34 lakhs per month demat accounts are being opened with an average of such kind of that. Okay, so retail participation has gone up. So people have that kind of literacy towards the financial markets. Earlier, it didn't used to be. People used to be attracted only to the fixed deposits. They used to do FD, RDs, or they used to invest into the
LIC.
bond side, LIC. So
Yes.
people thought these were the only options. They thought that markets are risky. But now people have increased their risk appetite. They have been attracted towards the stock markets. They have been pumping money directly through the investment part, taking positions into the stocks. Okay, if not taking directly participation in the market, they are pushing up money into the SIPs. The mutual fund contribution has gone significantly. So mutual funds are sitting on a very huge pile of cash flows, and when they get such kind of cash flows, they obviously have to invest it somewhere. Okay, so that's why you you must have seen like despite being the uh, global happenings, our Indian stock market is not taking that kind of hit.
Yes.
Okay, FPI have been they're taking out money, but still the support which has been provided by the domestic institutional investors, I think that is that is what is taking this market
And
ahead.
I think
Okay.
that is also making people concerned. Because of global happenings, Indian market is not getting affected, and it is obviously overvalued.
No, so it's overvalued. See, I have been a valuation guy. Okay, so I totally understand the overvaluation part, and there is going to be a correction into the near future.
So
Okay,
you are
it is
saying that
very.
the Indian market is overvalued currently.
So see, it's not a. It's obviously kind of an overvalued. There is kind of a certain bubble which is forming up,
Hmm.
and obviously, as I say, now the market is going to see some corrections. Okay, but again, the market is not going to go haywire because domestic players would be there to support the market.
Supported. हाँ.
ओके सो द फ्लक्चुएशन वुड बी देयर बट इट वुड नॉट बी लाइक कि मार्केट पूरा 5% ही डाउन आ गया 10% डाउन आ गया या फिर जो स्टॉक 1000 का था वो 300 पे आ जाएगा ऑब्वियसली 1000 का जो है वो 600 का आएगा ओके 700 का आएगा आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जांपल ओके
Yes.
एंड इट आल्सो डिपेंड्स ऑन कंपनी टू कंपनी बिकॉज मेनी ऑफ द इन्वेस्टर्स व्हिच आर देयर इनटू द मार्केट they may be able to see that okay यार ये 300 का 1000 पहुंच गया okay
Hmm.
so there are certain companies which have not really performed in financial performance okay but they have seen an uptrend in their stocks okay maybe because they are government related or whatever they are seeing that government is going to support them they are going to form any kind of policy which is going to benefit the company and in the given future okay so the companies are going to get that kind of financial performance it is also a function of the when you see a valuation in today's date it is a discounting of the future cash flows
Hmm.
okay
Yes.
so the discounting part it may be at 10% 15% okay or just 7% 8%
Yes.
so overvaluation is just one of the thing as I told you the domestic players are playing their part okay so the correction will be there in the near future but yeah they will be
So to
supporting
sum up, this is actually you can say कि it is a little bit overvalued, but after seeing some corrections, we can expect कि it will again go down. It will always become it will either reach the equilibrium or it will go below that.
right
Okay.
and that
So
is like वो
let's
हमेशा होता आया ही है ना मतलब वो होता ही है
yes.
the stocks see an uptrend and then the market correction comes we saw that market correction post covid also we were
हाँ.
not able to reach the previous highs of the market वो एक market कहीं जाके अटक गया था और वहीं पे वो
Hmm.
आगे पीछे हो रहा था
Understood. So आगे बढ़ते हैं.
yeah.
As a merchant banker, आपने तो practical experience लिया है, पूरा learning आपका practical. तो what is you think are necessary for becoming a merchant banker?
Okay. On paper, you are basically required to be a CA or a CS or an MBA finance to get
Okay.
into investment banking. Okay.
Hmm.
But this barely won't help. There are many CA, there are many CS, there are many MBA finance, but still they are not able to make into investment banking because first of all, obviously people get attracted to the investment banking, merchant banking because of the finance part,
Yes.
salaries and incentives. Obviously it is there. But it is a very hard kind of job. Okay. And okay, I'll brief you. So merchant banking is basically into three parts. First is the origination, then second is the execution, and third is the syndication. So origination team, they pitch to the clients, they identify the companies who could be possible companies to go for an IPO. Executionist team is something that once they get a mandate, they do the documentation part, DD part, they deal with the SEBI, get an approval, they manage the complete IPO opening and closing and all. But before that, the crucial part is played by the syndication team. Once the document is prepared, they take that document. They have discussions with various investors. That includes institutional investors, HNIs, okay, whatever the family offices are there who are going to pump up the money into the IPO. So you would need to have skill set according to these. So if you are trying to pitch for the origination team, you should have a very good presentation skills. You should be able to identify that what all things you need to put up in the presentations so that the pitch book is going to be in such a way that the client is going to get impressed by it. Okay.
Okay.
Then second is the execution part. If you're into an execution, you need to have an eye to information. You need to have a very good thing like you need to know where do you need to identify the challenges. Okay, if you're reading the accounts, you should be able to know that okay, where could be the possible default where I
Yes.
need to check. Okay, so all these things are required, and while execution, you also need to have a legal kind of mindset because you have to read regulations. So initially, मैं बताता हूँ like when I started my career. So as I told you, I don't come from a commerce background. I don't come from a legal background. So it was challenging for me. But then okay, eventually मतलब शुरुआत में तो मैं regulations पढ़ भी नहीं पाता तो I got used to get lost in that. Read one of clause 7 of section 6. So it is that like that. Okay, so if you're not from a legal background, it becomes a challenge for you. सो ड्यूरिंग दिस प्रोसेस क्या होता है ना लोग घुसते तो हैं यार मर्चेंट बैंकिंग में जाना है मर्चेंट बैंकिंग में जाना है बट क्या होता है कि यार ये तो कुछ अलग ही हो गया मतलब दिस इज नॉट समथिंग दैट आई वांटेड टू डू है ना
Yes.
एंड पीपल दीस डेज दे डोंट हैव अ पेशेंस दे वांट टू अर्न मनी ओके because I have seen this kind of experience actually. So people want to get into investment banking, people want to earn money, but then it is a very hard, it is a very tough job. Okay, if you're working in a very big corporate, like I won't take names, okay, but if you're working for a good corporate who have like 15 to 16 IPOs in pipeline, you have to work around till 3 a.m. You have to start again at 9 a.m. There are no weekends. If there is work, there is work.
So
You have to
basically
be
जो
on your toes.
सीरीज में दिखाया जाता है फेमस सीरीज, आई वोंट टेक द नेम, सीरीज
Yeah,
मूवीज कि इन्वेस्टमेंट
yeah.
बैंकिंग की लाइफ इतनी लैविश होती है, इतनी रॉयल होती है. इट्स नॉट ट्रू, रॉयल है बट साथ में इतना सब कुछ भी
There is a
करना
cost to
पड़ेगा
it. There
रॉयल
is a
बनने के
cost
लिए.
to it
हाँ.
actually. There is a cost to it because when you're working for around like 18 to 20 hours a day, okay, so if you're able to bear that pressure, well and good for you. But if you're not able to bear that pressure, you will give up. Okay, you will give up
Hmm.
onto the complete investment banking part only. You will start searching for another profile, different kind of profile where the work is very less hectic, and so that is what is required basically. Even people approach me, I want to be a part of investment banking. Please consider my CV. So I asked them, why, what is your motive to get into merchant banking? What do you know about merchant banking? One of the guy told me I want to be in investment banking. I told him that I am into merchant banking. मेरे को चलेगा, मेरे को मर्चेंट बैंकिंग में ले लो, ऐसा नहीं है. मर्चेंट बैंकिंग इज टोटली डिफरेंट, इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग इज टोटली डिफरेंट. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि आप बस आओ और उनको ऐसा लगता है कि इट इज वेरी स्लाइस ऑफ केक एक्चुअली, वेयर इट इज वेरी टफ एक्चुअली. सो इवन टू क्रैक इनटू द मर्चेंट बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री, you should have a luck actually, because either you are supposed to work into the financial services for a couple of years, because as a fresher, as an intern, like it is difficult. So when I got an opportunity to work with Aryan, I was like, okay, I just want to be in it. Because you know what happens, like if you enter in a larger organization, you work on a specific part of a transaction. But when you're
Hmm.
working for a small firm, you're working on each and every aspect of the
Each and every
transaction.
aspect, yes.
Okay, so I started with Aryan. So there I was origination also. There was a working on valuation also. I was working on execution also. And when we worked on SME IPOs, I was working on syndication part also. So
So
now
you
that
got
has been
hands-on
my profile.
experience on everything.
Yeah, so during one of the interviews that I gave, so the person called me a jack of all cards. So I was like, yeah, but the thing is now I want to focus on certain parts. Like I personally now I want to step behind the execution part. I want
Okay.
that my team to focus in, because I've been doing that for almost 10 years. I want to focus more onto the origination and the syndication part. Okay, so that is what I want to focus on. So I think this is the skill set that is required to be a part of merchant banking. First of all, you should be focused and clear. What is it that you want? See, obviously, it is going to be very difficult initially, बिकॉज बहुत सारे रेगुलेशंस होते हैं, आपको बहुत सारे कंप्लायंसेस
Yes.
होते हैं, आपको बहुत सारे एग्रीमेंट्स वेट करने पड़ते हैं, डॉक्यूमेंट्स रीड करने पड़ते हैं. सो यू बी ऑन द डेस्क कंप्लीटली. ओके, एंड इफ दैट इज नॉट समथिंग दैट यू आर विलिंग टू डू, देन यू वोंट बी पार्ट ऑफ इट.
So what courses and certification लोग कर सकते हैं for improving these skills, for improving these difficult skills actually. And merchant banking में घुसने का अगर मैं पूछूं, practical experience आपको क्या लगता है कि which courses are more likely to enter in merchant banking or should enter in merchant banking?
See, curriculum wise, so I told you, people prefer MBA finance, because what happens is you have to pitch for presentation and all, you have to prepare pitch books, so you have to deal with the client side. So while doing MBA, so the most of the curriculum is focusing onto your personality. So when a person has done a full-fledged MBA and they have taken part in curriculum activities and all, they've taken that leadership quality, मतलब कि हाँ मेरे को ये करना है. So MBA is actually more focused on building these kind of skill sets, to build the leadership quality in
Hmm.
you, so that you can take initiatives, you can speak amongst public by giving out presentations. So that's why I think they prefer more onto the MBA part. Okay, but onto the analytical part, if you are good in accounting, if you're good at reading books and all, if you're good at reading the financial statements, and you can make a good financial analysis, like you can identify if a company is healthy or it is sick. Okay, how the cash flows are being affected due to the current whatever the changes are there into the sectoral or the company part. Okay, so basic skill set I think that is required is to understand the financial statements, draft of the pitch books, and to read out the regulations. Okay, so again, on the curriculum part, it is going to be the MBA finance or a company secretary, because the secretarial part is more into the merchant banking side. If you just have to be
Okay.
into investment banking, I think MBA finance is good enough. And if you want to enhance your skill set, you can go for obviously CFA. Okay, there are various courses offered by, there are agencies who offer certain courses which are more focused onto the financial analysis part. Okay, so these are the courses I think that one can follow. But again, the courses are just going to give you a platform.
हाँ.
Okay, how you take advantage of that platform, how willing are you to be in that part. So this is not only my perception about the industry or the newcomers, it is a perception about like other colleagues also who are working for the merchant bankers. So they interview people. People are having that paper degree on paper and each and everything, but they are not clearly aware of what they want to do. They just want to have an employment. Okay, and I totally, I don't have any objection with that. People, the scenarios like that, people want to have employment. Okay, but then what happens is we invest our time into a person. They be here and then they move out actually. So either they move out because we were not paying them handsomely. So it is like I cannot pay you to train you. Either you are completely skilled person, I don't have to invest my time in you, I don't have to invest my money in you, you are ready to be on the desk person, that time I'm going to pay you. Okay, but if you're
Yes.
coming and I have to train you, then you'll have to give it some time.
Agreed.
I hope I have answered the question, or I'm still.
Yes. You have answered it actually in a very detailed manner. So if anyone who
So
is trying to enter,
this podcast is, is a very less time for me to speak about the merchant banking. I can go on and on for around like 3 to 4 hours explaining my
I am sure we
experiences.
can do another session. And actually, since you are a marketer, so I also want to talk more about market, but this session is very stringent. So I hope we connect in the future. But now I
Yeah,
think we'll have to restrict.
yeah,
Uh,
sure.
लेट्स मूव अहेड. आपने कोर्सेज बताए, बट अगर मैं देखूँ आई एम अ सी ए स्टूडेंट. सो एज अ सी ए स्टूडेंट अगर मुझे एंटर करना है, आई एम इन द करंट स्टेज ऑफ माई आर्टिकलशिप, राइट. सो आई हैव एन ऑप्शन टू गो फॉर इंडस्ट्रियल, एंड इफ आई थिंक कि आई वॉन्ट टू डू इंडस्ट्रियल इन मर्चेंट बैंकिंग. So there are not many options available. What do you think one can do as a CA student? Because you, when you took the names of curriculum, you didn't took the name of CA.
No,
So
no, sorry.
that's
So
why
I
I'm
missed out on
asking
CA.
for
I missed
specifically.
CA. CA is obviously there. People are CA. Like my first mentor, Mr. Ankur Sharma, he's a CA. Okay, I learned under him only. Okay, but the thing is that the conventional CA part is a bit different from merchant banking.
Hmm.
So if I have to see, the CA can apply his mindset onto the numbers. Okay, uh, if you have to enhance your skill set, then you have to learn the presentation part. Okay, because if you're going to get as an intern, you are not going to work on to the IPO part or anything. You would be mostly given parts where, like presentation part. Okay,
Okay.
work on this presentation, draft your pitch book. So you are a CA, good, you got the platform, but now you have to make your skill set in the presentation part also. So if you
Yes.
want to, I would advise you, like if you are a CA, you want to get into merchant banking, obviously it's not like you don't have an opportunity. I can, like, we can discuss this off this call and I can guide you how you can get into merchant banking. Obviously there are
This is not
options.
about me. Actually, I'm talking in general. Ki what is the scenario?
So the scenario is like, obviously there are options. It's not like CA को merchant banking में options नहीं है. The only thing is like कि you are an article. Okay, once you complete the CA, by mostly it happens that by the time the CA complete their courses, they go for either having into work for a firm kind of thing, or they want to work for a Deloitte or a Big Four. They don't want to stick to, if you're going to intern at suppose ABC Limited, which is a mid-sized boutique investment banking firm. So you will get those skill set over there. But as soon as you get your degree now, you will move out aiming for a higher target, which is not bad. Okay, I'm not saying there's any harm into it. But yeah, that is the case. Okay, so people move on. And that mostly happens with the CA, because your implementation towards the merchant banking is mostly onto the financial numbers part. Because see, and that is not an very so ऐसा नहीं कि बहुत less important part है. So when we go for an IPO, the restatement happens for last 3 financial years. Okay, so and sometimes ऐसा होता है कि we start working on an IPO and later on वो financial numbers में से कुछ निकल के आता है. Okay, so if you have that kind, I told you now, eye to information. Despite being a CA, if you have an eye to information, if you can read the accounts, something like exceptionally, ki, okay, this is, I can say this is 100% good to go. There is not going to be any challenge. Okay, or if you can highlight 5 to 6 pointers that, okay, this is something that I need to discuss with the company before we take this mandate.
Yes.
Okay, so what it's not about what background you come from, it's what you can contribute. Okay,
Agreed.
so if you can contribute, okay, this is something, this is very good to go, or this is the 5 challenges that I see, then I can comment if it is good to go or not.
So
How you
basically, I
apply.
can say कि you need to have जो आपने 3 stages बताए. You need to have analytical skills. You need to have presentation skills. You need to have the ability to read long texts. So जिस person में भी ये 3 abilities है, whatever the respective area he want to get into, अगर ये ability है, भले ही वो कोई भी course है, maybe CA, maybe CS, maybe MBA, or maybe even engineering, अगर वो ability है, तो he can enter into merchant banking.
See, if he can meet the demand of the industry, he can enter into the industry.
Yes.
It's basically demand and supply. If you can provide for what is the demand, so that is the thing. Once you fulfill the demand, okay, you are obviously in there, and then your performance and what do you contribute. Okay, so that matters. Like I told you at SMC, I was pitching for this deeper mandates. So the SMC was trying to pitch for the deeper mandates for almost 2 3 years. Couple of opportunities they were even able to grab, but I'm not exactly clear what happened to them. I think they worked on a couple of mandates, and so this is the IPO thing. They were trying to pitch it for like 2 3 years, but that was not happening. So I
Okay.
took it as a challenge, and I took it as a challenge. So I drafted out the pitch books. I went with my team, okay, and we pitched out. And there were various merchant bankers. There were SBI Caps was there. There was HDFC was there, okay, and there were very other merchant bankers. But we were able to grab the mandate just because of the presence. So there are two criteria actually. One is the presentation, and then second is the fee part. So during the presentation, you are cross question. You have to answer the queries of the ministry and the desk. Okay, so the presentation part plays a very crucial role, because the more attractive it is, the more explainable, the more it garners the attention of the other person. You are
Yes.
going to get an answer. That is the thing.
Agreed. So let's move ahead. One question I would like to ask here, since you mentioned all these skills, you said analytical mind is necessary, but when I talk about analytical mind, do you think advanced level of maths is necessary for entering into merchant banking, or we can say कि applied mathematics of
So
the
instead of
commerce field
instead
is
of
necessary?
no, sir. So logical reasoning is necessary actually,
Mhm.
not mathematics. Mathematics is simple. It is addition, subtraction, division. Okay, you have to arrive at EPS. You have to arrive at price earnings ratio.
Yes.
That is nothing but simple division, subtraction, multiplication. Nothing is there. Okay, but sometimes there is there like, for example, I'm going to give you advanced mathematics is not necessary, but how do you think out of the box and resolve a query that is necessary? Mathematics is not that important. If you are like a basic mathematics is there. Okay, there's nothing like no integration algebra, that kind of thing is there into the investment banking.
Yes.
Okay, not there, you don't even have to find the correlation part. Matlab, basically Excel helps you out in each and everything.
हाँ.
Okay, for all the statistics parts also. So basically I think the quants is more important instead of advanced mathematics. You need to have basic understanding of the quants. Okay, the average, mean, median, standard deviation, variance, correlation, all these parts they come into the picture.
Hmm.
Okay, but not beyond that. Okay, so one of the thing that is again necessary is something like, okay, you are working with me, I gave you a name. Okay, we don't have much details. Okay, and I just tell you that, okay, Prashant, go find out if there is any outstanding litigations for this person. Is there any notice which has been issued by any regulatory authority? Okay, so I just give you that he's associated with this company. Okay, now how are you going to find it out? Okay, so
I'll
for
try
example,
go for maybe police station police verification, or maybe MCA
no, you don't have
website
to.
which
No,
facilitates.
so what? So you don't have to go to police station. You went to the MCA website. What did you
Yes.
extract out? Just you can answer. Okay, normally we are not going for an interview or
Are
something.
obviously.
Yeah.
Generally, what I have learned about these scenarios is go on MCA website, search for the company name, you will get all the details. And if you want to dig deeper, you can go on the NCLT website as well. You'll find all the list of litigations, etc., of the different companies over there.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, because you come from a CA background, now here you have an advantage. Okay. If I'm going to ask the same to an MBA guy, na, he's not going to be aware ki how it is to be done. वो जाके गूगल करेगा कुछ ना कुछ करेगा he's going to try to find out some way. Okay, so one of the possible ways is again identifying the pan and searching through that pan onto the various platforms. Is there has been any other DIN number? Okay, matching that DIN number with the same person, trying to identify if there's some notice.
Yes.
So these all things, either you need to have a basic logical part that, okay, how I can identify. Okay, you are not from a CA background, you're not from the CS background, but you must be aware of the systems that are in place to
Mhm.
identify such things. Okay, so either you have that as a part of your skill set, like being a CA, you have worked on such kind of things, so you are aware कि, okay, these are the
Mhm.
platforms. But अगर मैं MBA को बोलूंगा तो उसके पास इतना नहीं होगा कि यार मेरे को यहाँ जाके सर्च करना,
Yes.
so I need to guide him. So all these things are which is required actually. So coming back to क्या वो basic skill set पे ही आता रहेगा क्वेश्चन घूम फिर के.
Yes.
So this is the thing. But हाँ, advanced mathematics is not required.
Okay. So now let's come on to the money part. Uh, as a merchant banker, आपने बोला कि there are three stages. तो if I talk about the three stages, as an intern, ज़्यादातर hiring कहाँ पे होती है? पहला question. दूसरा question would be, okay, you have become an intern, you have done MBA, you are now a fresher. So as a fresher, where the entering is done, what are the job levels, what are the packages, and how do you grow?
See, I'll tell you, if you want to get into merchant banking as an intern, so instead of targeting for a larger firms, identify corporates which are into small and medium space, okay,
Okay.
which are doing a fair amount of work. Okay,
Hmm.
just focus on to the learning part. Try to approach them. Okay, because these smaller merchant banks, they don't have a segregated department. There's a small team, 4 to 5 people. They do all the things. They do the origination also, they do the execution also, they do the syndication also. And in that case, क्या होता है ना कि वहाँ पे intern होने की possibility ज़्यादा होती है.
Hmm.
Okay, if you're going to target Nuama or Axis, they are not going to take any interns. They are not even going to hire you. Okay, I don't think मतलब मैंने किसी को सुना नहीं कि मैं Axis Merchant Banking के साथ intern कर रहा था. I haven't heard about. But yeah, I have heard about people who have worked as an intern at a smaller merchant banking firms. वहाँ पे opportunities ज़्यादा होती हैं. So वहाँ क्या होता है ना, you get to work on various aspects of the transaction. Once you work on such kind of transactions, you identify yourself. Okay, कि नहीं यार execution मेरे बस का नहीं है. I can't do this all documentary work ना. मेरे को presentation बनाना पसंद है. I'll focus more on to the origination part. Okay, या मेरे को वो क्लाइंट मीटिंग्स में जाना पसंद है तो अगेन ओरिजिनेशन पार्ट, या आई वांट टू फोकस ऑन टू द सिंडिकेशन पार्ट. ओके, सो एज आई टोल्ड यू मर्चेंट बैंकिंग इज इनटू थ्री वर्टिकल्स. द मोस्ट the premium work is done by the syndication team. I think they play a very crucial role because getting a mandate is a difficult thing, but once you get a mandate, you start working on the document, you file the document. But even after you get an approval, if you're not able to market the document to the institutional investor, then there's no use of that document.
Agreed.
यू गिव मी अ मैंडेट कि हमको आप करो 500 करोड़ का आईपीओ. ठीक है, मैंने जाके अपने एग्जीक्यूशन टीम को दे दिया, उन्होंने डॉक्यूमेंट बना के सेबी में फाइल कर दिया, प्रोसेस चला, क्वेरीज हुई, रिजॉल्व हुई, अब सेबी ने अप्रूवल दे दी. ड्यूरिंग दिस प्रोसेस आई हैव टू स्टार्ट मार्केटिंग द डॉक्यूमेंट. और अगर मेरी रीच नहीं है, if I'm not able to market the issue, I don't have a connect with mutual fund houses or the institutional players, okay, insurance companies or various other AIFs and all are there. Okay, if I'm not having a reach, if I'm not able to market the document, then उस document का मैं क्या करूँगा?
Agree.
Validity 1 साल की होती है. So if I'm not able to market the document, then it goes waste. So I'm not going to comment onto the exact onto the money part, but yeah, the largest chunk of incentive is taken by the syndication team, then the origination team, and the remaining goes into the execution team. That is something that what I've seen from my experience, because that is the way. I interviewed at a very larger firm, and for the syndication part, and I even got finalized, but they were going through some distress kind of situation. It was into the news all over, so they could not fill that position that time. So I was given an idea about the syndication part during that interview only, because I just went again because I was working in, like, I got bored of my work at some time. So that also happens, because sometimes there are days into merchant banking जहाँ आपके पास सांस लेने की फुर्सत नहीं है, और कभी आप ऐसा होगा कि आप सुबह से शाम तक कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो. Okay, that is like at a smaller mid-size setup, but at a larger setup, I think वहाँ काम ही इतना रहता है कि आपको वहाँ हमेशा सांस लेने की फुर्सत नहीं
वहाँ
होती.
उल्टा है.
वहाँ उल्टा है. So if you want to have a comfortable mixed work-life balance, then you should target for a mid-size kind of a merchant banks, where they also provide you such kind of benefits. But larger में क्या होता है कि you have to work, then you have to work. It's not an option.
Okay. And if you can state a starting package, मतलब range कि इसके अराउंड रहता है.
Yeah, that would be very difficult actually. I started my career in 2015 as an assistant manager, so that time the pay scale was different. Today we are at 2024. Pay scale is different because when I interview people, they come out and they show their expectations with having 1 year kind of experience, and I sometimes realize that it took me 4 to 6 years, 4 to 5 years, I think, to reach that level. Okay, yeah. So obviously there's a trajectory that you have to see while working. So that is the thing. Now people are behind money, so people have their expectations, but we are happy to pay that kind of package also, like for 1 to 2 years of experience, and if he's having a good amount of skill set, we are happy to pay him around, at a mid-size firm, around you know 7 to 8, I think that would be sufficient if he has a very good skill set. But and again, that is on a higher side, if I tell you,
So that
because
would be
क्या है
like
कि
a fresher of syndicate.
हाँ, no,
That
so
would be like
syndicate में
fresher of
ऐसा नहीं.
syndicate.
I'm not aware of the syndicate salaries actually, because वहाँ पे क्या होता है कि वेरिएबल पे का कंपोनेंट थोड़ा अच्छा रहता है.
अच्छा, okay. समझा. Can you tell a bit about the fixed and the variable portion, थोड़ा सा कि कैसे रहता है system merchant banking?
See, the variable part is depends upon company to company. Sometimes the variable part is one time of your CTC, 2 time of your CTC, or it is related to the targets. Okay, so suppose you are given X amount of target, they ask you to provide the projections at the start of the financial year. You tell them, okay, I'm going to do this. Suppose 10 crores of revenue in this year, 3 crores is going to be my cost. Then the 30% of that revenue is distributed as an incentive amongst the team. Okay, so there are various different kind of policies, and it varies from company to company. Okay, sometimes there are packages where your package includes a profit sharing kind of plan into the revenue. Okay, so that is at a higher end actually. So at the mid level or the low level person, okay, those kind of packages are not there. It is mostly like, this is going to be a fixed part, and up to this much amount we are going to pay you a variable package. So like I interviewed at again a larger group, and they offered me a 40 to 45% of hike. Okay,
Okay.
and you can roughly say around 15% or 20% of the variable pay of the total package.
Okay, because that is also a very big issue. The LinkedIn में I saw many posts जहाँ पे they are saying कि company is actually trying to cover it. They are showing the CTC of maybe 50 lakhs, but the majority portion of that is variable and
हाँ,
very
so
little part is
that
fixed.
that is there actually. So that is there actually, because क्या होता है ना कि मर्चेंट बैंकिंग में आज आपके पास मार्केट्स अच्छे हैं, अभी जैसे मार्केट अप रही है, यू पीपल आर गोइंग टू कम आउट विद एन आईपीओ, यू विल हैव एम्पल ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज टू वर्क आउट. तो क्या होता है ना कि एक फिक्स कॉस्ट होती है और एक वेरिएबल कॉस्ट होती है. एज अ मैनेजर, लाइक आई एम द प्रमोटर ऑफ माय मर्चेंट बैंकिंग फॉर एग्जांपल, नाउ आई हैव टू कीप अ टीम, आई हैव टू मेंटेन अ टीम ऑफ 5 पीपल. ओके, आज तो काम है, मैं आज उनकी सैलरीज, अच्छा खासा कैश फ्लो है मेरे पास, आई डोंट हैव अ प्रॉब्लम विद दैट. बट क्या होता है, दिस इज अ वॉलेटाइल थिंग. आज मार्केट अच्छा है, कल मार्केट हो सकता है 1 साल के लिए डाउन रहे और कोई मार्केट में आईपीओ ही नहीं आएगा. देयर वोंट बी एनी एक्टिविटी, नो बायबैक्स, नो ओपन
Yes.
ऑफर्स, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. हार्डली इक्का दुक्का आईपीओ आ रहा है, बस वो हो रहा है, बिकॉज पीपल आर नॉट हैविंग अ पॉजिटिव सेंटीमेंट टुवर्ड्स द मार्केट. तो उस केस में क्या होता है, अगर मैं इन सबको जो भी है, माय टीम इज देयर, सपोज आई हैव अ हायर कंपोजिशन ऑफ द फिक्स सैलरी, तो मेरे को वो बर्डन रहेगा कि
Hmm.
कुछ काम नहीं है, बट आई हैव टू पे देम आउट. So that's why क्या होता है ना कि वो एक fixed component part एक restricted रहता है, variable component is high. ये काम रहेगा तो obviously I don't have a problem in sharing that part with you.
Yes, agreed. So I think we have almost come to the end of this session. बात करते करते पता भी नहीं चला. Two questions. पहला, you have shown on your LinkedIn profile कि you have also worked in PE and VC related work. Tell
Yeah.
us a bit about it. Ki what is PE, what is VC? A small description of both, and then I'm going to ask you one more market question.
So see, I have a very limited kind of exposure in PVC. I have worked upon, not end to end, but yeah, onto certain parts of the transaction. Suppose if there was a valuation requirement for the PVC transaction, so I was working on that. If there were certain agreements that were supposed to be vetted, so I was working on that. Then I have. During the COVID, I have worked upon this one of the project where the dairy company wanted to, completely sell off their stake to any of the investor, like 100% buyout. So it happens like that. Private equity is something like as an equity capital market, people invest in you. You have to dilute your stake into the public. While as a private equity, you dilute your stake to a renowned investor who is focused, a strategic investor or someone who can provide you funds. And uh, mostly P helps in cleaning up the company.
Okay.
And I say cleaning up like when a private equity investor comes. So अगर कोई ऐसी कंपनी जो compliance maintain नहीं करती थी, audit books were like being audited by say not so premium auditor. Okay, so they try to bring corporate governance into the company. Okay, because they want to build a good company. So they bring in the corporate governance, they bring in a big four auditor or a big five auditor. Okay, so that the things start refining. Okay, then if they are the strategy investor, they also look onto the operational part. They provide the insights. They help the company to reach to a certain whatever you see in the Shark Tank actually. So these people come down as a strategic investor. These are private equity people. Okay, so they come into the company. They refine the company, clean up the company. उनको थोड़ा सा structure में लाते हैं. They focus onto the company and they try to take it up from there. So
Okay.
they come in as an early stage investor. The क्या होता है, IPO is a part of a later stage. The
Hmm.
early stage is the seed investing or the private equity or the venture capital. Okay, so this is the
Understood.
part where they come into the picture, invest their time and money, take the company from X level to Y level. Okay, then they have a certain exit policies. Okay, कि मैंने अगर इतने पे invest किया है, I want a return इतना 18% का return या 20% का return, then I'm going to take an
हाँ.
exit or I'm going to keep invested into the company. Okay, so the thing is like that. What I have seen from my experience, the private equity investors come into the company at an early stage. They remain invested into the company. So exit events में होता है one of the event which is IPO, and then during the IPO they offload their stake to the public or they completely take an exit or like that. Abhi so they can't take complete exit because SEBI is restricted OFS ka guidelines. But yeah, that is used to be this used to be like that. So private equity is nothing. Like you can also be a private equity investor. You have some funds, there is a startup. Okay, you are going to put in your money, you become a private equity investor. Or अभी ठीक है, you don't have that kind of a portfolio, so you could be called as an angel investor. So
Hmm.
anybody can be a private equity or angel investor kind of thing. If you're going to put it on to a in a more structured way, then you become a venture capitalist and all. So that is the thing.
Okay. So basically, if I ask you कि कौन सा ज़्यादा practical है, merchant banking, investment banking, PE, VC, PE, VC I'm taking together, PE, VC,
So
merchant
P,
banking
see,
or investment banking?
नहीं, so PVC is a part of investment banking. Just equity capital markets is a part of
Hmm.
merchant banking. Debt capital markets is a part of merchant banking. PVC is a part of investment banking. They are more
Okay.
focused onto that part because they are not licensed by SEBI, so they can't carry out IPOs.
Hmm.
So what they do is they approach, they identify the companies. They give them, okay, you are a very good prospective company. We have a class of investors. Okay, so they either take mandates onto the buy side or to the sell side. Okay, so
Okay.
there are fund houses like Avendus and all. So okay, these people are onto the buy side. Okay, so they can identify themselves. Okay, they are going to identify the companies. Okay, they are going to take invest into that company. So ऐसा होता है, एक टर्म शीट वगैरह साइन होती है, DD होता है, legals are appointed. Once both the parties are okay, they invest money. Okay, so they are more focused onto the M&A part also. PVC M&A, these goes hand in hand actually for the investment banking. While the merchant banking, those are mostly focused onto the primary equity capital markets or primary capital debt markets. Okay,
Hmm.
even the buyback and all. So प्राइमरी कैपिटल मार्केट्स हो गया अपना आईपीओ एंड सेकेंडरी कैपिटल मार्केट्स में अपना होता है बायबैक हो गया, डीलिस्टिंग हो गया, ओएफएस हो गया, such kind of transactions. So merchant banking is focused onto that, and investment banking is mostly onto the PEVC and MNSI. So I don't have that kind of exposure onto the PEVC. I have not worked full-fledgedly, but I have worked upon certain transactions. Uh, Certain transactions which I started. Okay, so it is very difficult to crack a PEVC deal. Okay, because you start working onto a mandate, you once you prepare a pitch book kind of thing, you prepare an information memorandum, you meet people, and these people are really very hard to crack. Okay, because they have a clear cut focus that, okay, I want this much amount of ROI. I'm good because what happens is they have seen the trends actually. People have taken money in the past, cash burn हुआ है, कुछ return नहीं मिला है when the startup things started happening in India. early 2014, 2013, when the Flipkart was new. Everybody was new into the market. Ola was new. So, these people took a huge chunk of money and there was a cash burn continuously for many years. Okay, now it has a time like Zomato be recently profitable.
Yes.
Okay, so there is a very huge risk associated as a private equity investor क्योंकि उनकी एक तो लिक्विडिटी नहीं है. मैं अगर ऑफलोड करना चाहूँ तो मेरे को खुद को ही करना पड़ेगा या मेरे को किसी को इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकर को अगेन आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा और फिर मेरे को ऑफलोड करवाना पड़ेगा स्टेक. ओके.
Agreed. And अभी recent news भी आई थी कि one of the unicorn startups, once upon a unicorn startups, Byju's, is also facing bankruptcy.
सो दीज आर देयर. मतलब क्या होता है कि इट बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू आपको नहीं पता आपका पैसा रिस्क में है. दैट्स इट.
Agreed.
एंड दैट्स व्हाई दे एक्सपेक्ट अ वेरी हायर रिटर्न बिकॉज जितना ज्यादा रिस्क उतना ज्यादा रिटर्न. इट्स अ सिंपल फॉर्मूला. हाई रिस्क हाई रिटर्न.
Okay. So let's come on to the market question. As a merchant banker, what do you see of the Indian market, maybe capital market, maybe securities market, in the coming 5 to 10 years? What do you think about the market performance? How is it going to be? And any specific sector that you are bullish or maybe bearish on?
I okay, so see, financial markets, capital markets, we see it from a sentiment point of view. We see it from how the money is being pumped in, what are the FPI's net inflow or net outflow, and through that we decide that okay, what is the current situation of the market. But again, these are not the only factors which contribute for the market. Like in a longer term, I think if you are going to speak about like next 5 years or 6 years, so there are many functions: the economic policies, fiscal policies, monetary policies, what kind of steps are being taken by the government to regulate the inflation, okay, to maintain the interest rate. Obviously, if there was going to be a decrease into the interest rate that is being offered, people are going to get attracted towards the stock market. Okay,
Yes.
to have that kind. The gold prices they fall down, okay, they go down. That also affects the stock market. Okay, the sectoral trends are there, industry performance is there. Like as of now, green sector is in very demand right now. People
Yes.
are like any. If you're going to see the market, कोई सी भी solar company आ रही है ना, it is getting a huge
People are very
valuation.
bullish. Yes.
People are very bullish on these kind of sectors, and obviously because these are somewhere into the line of ESG part, that is also the trends in the market now. Okay, ESG compliance, ESG ready, ESG kind of investments. Okay, so these are the hot topics which are there into the market: green stocks, ESG compliances. Okay, going forward, I think technology is also playing a very crucial part. Okay, the people used to be like कि मेरे को account कैसे open करना है, कहाँ जाऊँ, किधर जाऊँ. Now you can sit on mobile and just open an account within like 5 to 6 minutes. Okay, you
Yes.
can start investing from next day. Okay, previously it didn't used to be case. You are hands-on on information. There are various apps which provide you insights. Okay, this is the stock which is under highlight. Someone has invested into this. Okay, you also invest into this. People have that kind of approaches now. Okay, some big fellow has invested into this company, so okay, I want you are getting notification on your phone. Okay, he invested. Okay, you can also invest. Okay, so these are all things which are playing a very important role. Uh, Government reforms, as I said, like one of the example could be regulating the crude oil prices. Okay, so once the government is able to hold on the crude oil prices, it is a very a good achievement because it regulates the inflation, it regulates each and everything. Once the crude oil gets hit, तो आपको पूरा inflation वगैरह hit होने लगता है, prices go high, and that affects consumption power of a person. Okay, everything gets hit once the crude oil gets hit. So Abhi, that is one of the important things that I would like to highlight during this call, that government has somehow managed to curb the crude oil prices, keep them in check by not following the world trends actually, where the sanctions were imposed on Russia. Okay, so we
Yes.
didn't sanction any such kind of restrictions on Russia, and we are still importing from there. So these are all factors. Actually, I cannot answer this question into 1 or 2 minutes, but broadly, if I say so, to answer your question, um, I'm very bearish about the green stocks actually, and
Okay.
not only green stocks, but the companies which are working onto the technological part. So there are many companies who are working on drones. So I'm not speaking of the drones onto the hardware part. I'm speaking on the drones company who are working onto the technological part, who are into hardcore coding and who are really building technologies. I happen to meet one of the company where they have put up such kind of brilliant softwares and coding to the drones that they are supplying the products to the defense also.
So you are bullish on that or bearish?
I'm bullish. I'm bullish
You're
completely,
bullish.
100% bullish.
Any specific name you would like to take?
No, I am not allowed to take names actually. Okay, that's a part of my, um, just a part of my job profile
Yes.
actually.
Agreed. Okay. Thank you, Ankur, for joining today. I think we have talked a lot about the merchant banking field, and one can get a lot of learnings from this podcast and also about
Yeah,
markets.
yeah. So to conclude this, I am sure that I would have been able to give certain insights of the merchant banking. I'm sure that I'm not able to speak all about it. Maybe one-to-one discussion if we can have. Okay, I can brief you about some more points of about the skill sets and my personal experiences when it comes to investment banking. So yeah, maybe some other time.
Sure thing, sure thing. Um, I can connect with you. For those who want to connect, Ankur can connect via LinkedIn. The link will be provided in the description.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you, Ankur, for joining today.
Thanks, Prashant. Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you. Same here. Bye.